The reason why I side with freeing Derek Chauvin is it's up to you whether you want to process the intention, or if you want to, if that's one of those things you want to selectively ignore. Because I'm not trying to make fun of anybody who doesn't side with me. If you don't know why, you have to understand before you make a decision why you think anything, or because you could just as easily think of me as a devil just as easily as they're trying to promote that every cracker on the earth is the devil. Also, it doesn't really help that Derek Chauvin's name sounds like chauvinist. So what if you're a boomer or a poor person who's looking for clarity and perspective versus like, say, somebody who's like knows how to mitigate different geopolitical atmospheres and play a part to where they're like, they got the shit parsed out to where it's like, okay, we're highly supportive of Israel, and at the same time we're very it's like conservative on everything, what I mean? It's like when it comes to politicized court cases, it comes down to what you understand to be true and what you don't know, what you understand to be that which I doesn't understand yet. So the things that I don't know may outweigh what I think is true if I'm rational, because it's not a complete. And if you're not complete, that's fine. Anybody rushing for you to make up your mind and complete in a sense and telling you, they can placate you in so many ways. Instead of finding your balance, why don't you just center yourself? Then that way you're still subservient to me, because you have to center yourself. Even you're centering yourself, you're doing that for me. It's not because you're finding your balance. I'm just telling you that. It's like, I will have you know. It's just another thing that will have you know, because you're not processing up to par if you don't agree with everything I say. So if you don't understand why, it's not because I want to side with the devil. And I don't think all white men are the devil, even if their last name rhymes with chauvinist. Apparently, the best evidence against him is that he took nearly 10 minutes to kneel on George Floyd's neck. But how do you know that he was doing a full Nelson, how do you know that he was doing a wrestling move the whole time? It seems like sinister, like you would think like, oh, that motherfucker. How is he doing George Floyd like that? But George Floyd isn't Uncle Ben. George Floyd swallowed a whole bunch of fentanyl. A little bit of fentanyl, like the head of a pin, is supposed to be enough to kill somebody. We don't know how much he took. We don't have a video of Derek Chauvin kneeling on the dude's neck for 9 minutes. So that's just some testimony without video corroboration, going by the emotions that somebody feels that is charged, that I can't know that is not. And then, so I don't have any, just because somebody tells me he's kneeled on his neck for 9 minutes, how come I can't see I'm a black. You want to convince me, show me 9 minutes, because Uncle Ben is not allowed on his own products, and it seems like they superimposed George Floyd over the American spirit of entrepreneurship, which is imbued by Uncle Ben, whose face was for multiple decades the most recognizable face in the goddamn world. And you might recognize Stalin or Lenin by their name, but even you born in this decade don't understand. Uncle Ben was facial recognition more than any other human in the whole fucking world. For multiple decades, he was the most recognizable face. After that was Michael Jackson. Do you remember Uncle Ben, Michael Jackson? That's before Uncle Ben. I don't know who it was. After Michael Jackson, I have to know who it is, but you just have to remind me who it is because I'm not thinking about that shit right now. You can't buy an Uncle Ben product with Uncle Ben's face on his own product because apparently being that he's jet set across the world, more recognizable face than Lenin or Stalin for the 70s and the 80s. It's just that all these people who were born in 2010, 2020 have no idea that George Floyd is Uncle Ben. And I don't believe George Floyd is Uncle Ben for 1 second. Not for 1 second. The reason why they arrested Uncle Ben is because his recognizable face, he didn't get there through fear. Everybody else on the goddamn planet who was ever recognizable as much up underneath Uncle Ben, up underneath him, used fear to get to where they got to, but they never got to Uncle Ben. So they had to arrest him. They couldn't let that shit slide. So they got to give you a pornographer counterfeiting, selling drugs to children. It's like, and everybody, I understand it because you didn't know. You don't know. But Derek Chauvin sounds like chauvinist. And it's just too easy for the transhumanists to fucking using some kind of spellcraft because they figured it out. And you have to admire how intelligent they are to figure it out, but at the same time you think it's actually still kind of stupid. Is it all right if you you understand that I am without being compartmentalized, you need to take due diligence to figure out where the perspective is actually coming from. And if you don't care, then I have to assume that you telling me to fuck off under a bus. So if you slip and fall on your face, it's gonna be funny as fuck. It's gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh. Because I don't conduct myself like that. I'm a free instrument of information. Unless, I got to give that information to someone who's not ready to receive it, but then it's okay if you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's only when you know that they're not ready to receive the information, then if you lie to them effectively by giving them the truth when they're not ready to receive it, that you're not toning down rhetoric, you're acting weird, you're being over people's head, or you're trying to play smart or act like somebody that you're not. But there's no, okay, wait, here we go. There might be a reason for me to do it. If I did it. Until then, it's not an appeal to like reason, almost like begging you to believe what I'm saying. It's like a whodunit. Because there's still gonna be people who don't even know what my problem is. You're gonna be like, what is, like, I don't understand. But you see, it's because they're loyal to something else. To the fact that they're disloyal and inconsistent and have no commitment, that's how committed they are to this spell man who can influence people without really thinking, because it's a disconnect. Because if you think, chauvinist, Derek Chauvin, it's someone's last name. Somebody's last name was Guillotine before, okay? Like the person who invented gunpowder or Remington or whatever, or dynamite or like all these things, they didn't expect that it was going to cause so many deaths or something. Like they're trying to solve some issue, like how to remove tree stumps or something, like how to, they're trying to solve an industrial problem, but they end up figuring out a new weapon for the military. That's how it goes. That's how it shit is. If you're someone who, because nobody thinks that Derek Chauvin is a chauvinist because his last name is chauvinist. But some people might think, like, the way that things are going and the precedent for people to overlook that, if you just go along with it and don't rock the boat and don't make any waves and just go along with it, that you'll be rewarded. But what about, there's no sinister motivation in the universe? Anything that is to be understood as sinister, it can be flipped around to where it's a bunch of hungry ghosts with pinhole mouths and ravenous bellies, and they can't be fed. So you almost like have to make it a holiday to come around and feed them every now and then, because they'll eat you up. How do they eat you up? With a pinhole mouth, right? Well, there's like, let's say, if you detest an aspect of yourself, or if you bow down and worship, you don't get the perspective. You're almost like a ghost with a pinhole mouth, because you can't get the perspective. It takes multiple lifetimes for you to. So it's not like a should, as far as like, setting things in balance and right and punishing and putting things back. Like, who actually does that? Because revenge is taken almost immediately. Then we still want to take revenge. So who's actually doing the revenge on them? Because we can't understand why we're better off than the people who are supposedly gaslighting us. You couldn't gaslight me if you're in a better place than me with something regard to that which you want. You have to lower the value of it for me to give it to you. Or to say, manage this for me and I'll do this. I'll take an apple with a bite missing. I'll pay 10 times more for an apple if it has a bite missing. Okay. I mean, I'm a rambler. I'm kind of sputtering and rambling, but it is kind of coherent. You have to admit where I'm going. It's like, if you can identify with this stress, maybe I see something is stressing me, even if my expression is not enough to really point the finger and blame. Because isn't pointing fingers and laying blame not getting to the crux of the matter, which is like something where people who try to memorize scripture. Why wouldn't you want to memorize scripture? Oh, because they would never put it to any, they wouldn't put it to use, right? They were always juxtaposed to it, and they were trying to monitor and see, like the Overton window, and they wanted to be able to sell people's absolutions to them. Like, I'll sell you atonement. Buy one of my ornaments, buy one of my figurines. And even if you killed your own grandmother, if you spend for this time only, like this month only, a special on this figure or that figure, idol or that idol, then you'll have, enough to appease the gods of sins that you didn't even know that you committed. There was a time when that was a big deal too, that people were doing this, like NFT or something. I don't think NFT is as much as a scam as you can expect it is a scam for a padre to sell some relic that's supposedly make you absolved of whatever you want to do. Pointing out that I do things that wrong, like this or whatever, is irregardless. I didn't allude to this being correct or you should try this or anything.